How good will the 49ers defense be in 2021?
So, again, the caveat is so irritating, right? Because I think the caveat is really important for this.
Yes.
Because I don't think this is even when they're not healthy, because you have Robert Saleh and Fred Warner performing at the most elite of levels, you can still maintain a top 10 defense. And Jimmy Ward. I would say those are the three guys that really kept that defense afloat last year. I don't think it's going to be like that. I think Fred Warner is still going to be the best linebacker in football. I think Jimmy Ward is going to continue to show why he's a top 5 or 6 free safety or safety in football. But I don't think D'Amico is going to be at the level that Saleh was at last year, because it also took Saleh some time. Like McVay ate up Saleh the first 4 times they played, and then look at what Saleh did to McVay the last 4 times they played. Saleh killed his offense. So
that's a great point.
I can't expect D'Amico
Saleh had no answers for McVay the first 2 years, and then McVay had no answers for Saleh the next 2 years. It was very interesting.
It was a game planning clinic. He destroyed their offense.
Yeah.
He destroyed their offense.
For 2 years.
Yeah. He gave Matt LaFleur fits with half his defense on the COVID list. Like Aaron Rodgers, that was one of his worst games of the season. I mean, the stats won't bear it out, but it took them.
What they did to Drew Brees last year, they knocked Drew Brees into retirement last year.
He dominated Sean Payton. He went through and he said, every good offensive coordinator check, I'm beating you regardless of who I got on the field. So I can't expect D'Amico to do that. But what I can expect is that this defense is so talented and they have a sound scheme that if they're healthy, 100% they can be a top 10 defense. If they're not healthy, I don't think, say they miss a Nick Bosa for 8 games. I think they'll be a top 15 defense. I don't think they'll be the 5th best defense in football without Nick Bosa again. I see no way of that happening.
Because that number 5 ranking was really a testament to Robert Saleh. It's what made him the number 1 candidate in this coaching cycle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him, Brandon Staley.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Brandon Staley too.
But he had.
I want to ask you one thing before I get to Will. So before we wrap this up, if you had to predict today, which unit will finish higher rated, offense or defense, with the normal caveats of health, what would you predict?
So if Robert Saleh was still here, I'd pick defense.
But he's not.
I'm going to pick offense. Yeah.
Fair enough. Me too. All right. Will says.
I think the run. My bad. I was going to say, I just think the run game is the thing that I'm most confident about. Where, like last year, I would have looked at it and I would have said there's sound defensive scheme and there's elite pass rush and Fred Warner and their safeties, and that's why they're going to have an elite defense. This year, I look at it and I say, what do the Niners? I look at everything. What do they have best? They have elite football players to run the football in terms of Debo and the quarterback with Trey Lance if he plays, and Trent Williams and Banks, who they drafted, who I love, and McGlinchey's a good run blocker, and Alex Mack can still run block. So when I look at it like that, to me, the run blocking thing is the one thing on offense or in this team that I'm so confident is going to be one of the best in football. So therefore, I think the offense will be the better unit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Will Craig says, maybe Trey's just so good that Kyle told him that you should go to Vegas. There's nothing more I can teach you. LOL, love the show. To be fair, Kyle was in Vegas too, right? They were all in Vegas. Is that what happened?
Yeah. I don't know. I thought Kyle was in Disneyland.
I don't know what that was. How would you rate his Gentlemen Chart Your Engines? What would you give him out of a 10?
So he's interesting when he has to be like very, very animated. Yeah. Because it feels a little forced, but I would say that's the least forced I've seen in him being
I'd give him an 8. I'd give him an 8. I thought it was a solid 8. He let his hair down a little bit.
A guy like like the Salehs and the McVays, that comes really easy for them. Naturally. Just going out and doing
Did you see Saleh at the Knicks games? I mean, he had them eating from the palm of his hand, man. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah,
but that's not for everybody, right? Like Matt LaFleur is a guy, when I saw his post-game press conferences and stuff, I was like, wow, this is your head coach, Look at Aaron Rodgers when he goes to the Bucs games, like Bakhtiari's chugging a beer and having a great time, and you got Rodgers like unable to chug the beer.
That was
awkward
hilarious.
With his hat and all of that. Yeah, so it's like, it has nothing to do with leadership. It's just like some people, I think Kyle is naturally a little more introverted person than a Robert Saleh or Sean McVay. Sean McVay is doing a killer podcast with Peter Schrager, which I listen to every week now. And it is a really interesting podcast, but he's so free, willing to share and stuff, while Kyle's a little more closeted. But in terms of what I expected from him, I think 8 is a fair ranking.